Hello everyone and welcome again to my YouTube channel. I'm VR Stuntman and I'm bringing you round 8 of the very exciting GT300 League at vrroom.org, and we are racing today at Monza, and it's the first time I've raced at vrroom at Monza, so it's going to be interesting. Let's have a quick look at the track, and there you can see the track map. It's a very fast track. There's 4 long straights here, and a couple of really tight chicanes. There's no really critical corners as such, because they're all incredibly important, because every single corner leads onto a long straight, apart from the first Lesmo, which is turn 6 on the map. But that's pretty important to get right, because if you go off there, you get dirty tyres, which makes you slow through the second Lesmo, which means you're slow all the way down the next straight. I think probably the key points are braking for turn 1, the Variante del Rettifilo, because you're braking from colossally high speeds down to almost walking pace to get through that chicane. Very easy to outbrake yourself. And similar again into the Della Roggia, turn 4. And well, you've got to be very careful not to get sucked into outbraking battles, I think, into those corners, because you can end up going off quite easily, and rather embarrassingly sometimes as well. Right, so we'll get back to the grid walk, and once again we have Scalebreaker on pole from Stuntman. Those two have been locking out the front row recently. Second row we have N10 and Malada. N10 back on form in this qualifying session, and Malada once again fastest of the RX-7s. 2 more RX-7s on row 3. That's Jezza and Scouser. Good qualifying by Jezza there, 5th place, very impressive. Then row 4 we have that's Hatcher and Slicker. Row 5 is Rick and Danny. And then last row of the grid we have Turner and Rayman. Surprised to see Rayman all the way down there. Maybe he was doing setup work instead of trying to qualify. Right, so on with the race action. And we've got the race leader covering Scalebreaker covering Stuntman straight away, moving across the track. We're riding on board with Rick as we come down to the first corner. He's already lost a place to the fast starting 4-wheel drive Subaru, and that's the red MRS of Turner going through as well. So down 2 places already for Rick. We're going to ride on board with Hatcher down to the first chicane, and with a 4th RX-7 in the line. Sorry, second chicane, the Rogers chicane. Oh, bit of a tap from behind, and then it was a chain reaction. So who was that? Who was that from behind? Let's see if we can work that out. It would have been Slicker, but maybe that was lag actually, because that car seemed to suddenly jump forward, and there's been a chain reaction, and Scouser is in the gravel and in the wall, and so lots of damage on Scouser's car. Jezza's lost a lot of time, but he's not sustained any damage, and we don't seem to have a yellow flag for that. But we have lost Hatcher. I think probably it was lag, and that's very unfortunate for Jezza and Scouser. They probably deserve a yellow for that, but always difficult for the marshal to watch all 12 cars at once. Anyway, we'll go on board with the leaders, and this is the view from Stuntman's car, and look how close the Garaya is behind. We've been bump drafted, I think, by Scalebreaker, and here comes N10 looking up the inside as we come down to the Parabolica. Good run from N10. Stuntman leaves him room, but N10 slow through the apex, and that lets Breaker back into 2nd place. So those 4 pull well clear, and in 5th place is Slicker. This is Slicker's view, and you can see the effect the slipstream has, because the red car tried to of Turner trying to pull out of the slipstream and immediately loses the slipstream and stalls. And he's doing it again, but he's got past this time. And braking. Oh, that's messy. Oh, that's very messy. And three cars all piling into the Rettifilio all at the same time, and we've got a bit of damage on some of them. And out of that, Danny has emerged with no damage and back in that 5th place. But meanwhile, we go on board with the leaders, and it's Breaker late on the brakes, and nice line through the Roger. Breaker now leading from Stuntman, N10 and Malada. Those 4 seconds now, maybe 3.5 seconds ahead of the chasing pack. And Breaker very quick through the 2 Lesmos, but he'll be slow on this next straight section. And hello, what's going on here? He's stuck at 100 miles an hour. We've got a yellow flag. That's what's happened. We've had more incidents, so I'm just going to rewind a little bit. So I'm going to go on board with Rayman. Ooh, little rub from behind, and he's gone. He's got 2 wheels on the grass and straight into the wall, and he's quit. So we're down to 10 cars now, and we are under yellow flag, and I am going to fast forward. So we will fast forward to lap 3 now, and second chicane, and we'll go on the rear view of race leader Breaker, and cars have been told to go at the 2nd Lesmo. So that's in 2 corners time. We're going through the 1st Lesmo now. Everybody waiting in line. Oh, and the Breaker's gone a bit early. I don't think he heard the call quite right. A little bit of confusion, and that's strung the field out somewhat. And Breaker is away, but not far enough ahead to be out of the slipstream. There's quite a gap now between Malada and Danny. That's Malada's view, and you can see that first 4 have already broken away again. This is Danny's view, and they're all queuing up behind as we come down to Ascari, and Jezza and Turner racing very close together in our rear view. Good run through there from Danny. Go on board Rick's car and see the cars chasing him. It's difficult because every time you pull out to overtake someone, you lose the slipstream. Oh, big sideways moment for someone there, and that's Slicker off the track and in the gravel, and he's lost the toe, so Slicker's dropped right off the back. Meanwhile, Rick has moved ahead of Danny, so Rick up to 5th place, but we're going to go on board with the leaders as we come down to the 1st chicane, and that's Stuntman and N10 breezing past Breaker as we come down to the Rettifilio chicane. Let's go to the outside shot. Oh, N10 very sideways out of there. And the first 4 have maintained their break over the next group of cars, which has Danny back in front of Rick. Jezza, Turner and Scouser all in that battle for 5th place. And it looks like Rick is back up to 5th, but meanwhile the first 4 through the Roger and into the 1st Lesmo. Let's have a quick look at Danny's group. It's now it's Danny from Jezza. Rick is down to 7th. Turner and Scouser. And good close racing in the packs here. This is Stuntman coming down to Ascari now, and Breaker is being dropped off the back. I think he must have gone a bit wide in the Lesmos, and Breaker now he needs to absolutely fling it through the Ascari chicane. Breaker. keep within a second and a half, and I think he's done it, and that means he's he's definitely back into the slipstream of the three leaders, and it's N10 now taking over the lead into the Parabolica. And once again we have a race of 4 cars at the front, all 4 different chassis, and we're going 3 abreast again down to the Rettifilio. It's Milada on the inside, Stunt in the middle, and oh, that's beautifully done, everybody. Let's see how the next group do it, and nicely done there as well. And we now have Turner up to 5th from Rick, Danny and Jezza. That MRS is probably the quickest car on the straight, and that definitely helps Turner and Stuntman on this track. And down in, we're now on lap 5, so about halfway through the race, and oh, that was Rick having a look at Turner. All very orderly, and Slicker at the back is making progress on this group. He's starting to catch them. Meanwhile, at the front, Milada still leads out of the second Lesmo. Under the bridge, that's the old bank track on top of that bridge. Hasn't been used, I don't think, since the 50s, or maybe the early 60s. But still, a lot of it exists. You can actually see part of it if you position yourself in Gran Turismo and look in the right place. And here comes Stuntman using the slipstream, and it's ever so close as they go into the Parabolica. And oh, look at that! And it's Scalebreaker taking 2 cars on the through the middle of the Parabolica. And we'll stay with these as they plunge down towards the Rettifilio, and it's N10 now. Breaker was first onto that straight, but last off of it. Stuntman slow through that chicane. That gives Milada a run. I think he thought Milada was alongside. Meanwhile, in the next group, it's Rick, and Rick in 5th, Jezza now 6th, Danny 7th, and Slicker is in that group. Now he's past Turner, so Turner's dropped off the back. Didn't see what happened to him, but Turner now down in 10th place, and seemingly out of contention as we come to oh, that was Danny taking too much speed into the second chicane, and that's chaos. And we've got lots of cars with damage. Rick has got damage. Danny's got lots of damage. Scouser is damage. I think he had that before though. I'm not sure. And have we got another yellow flag? Let's have a look on board with N10 race leader. No, we don't. They're still racing, these guys. Oh, we've got a yellow flag now. So N10 it is, leading from Milada, Breaker and Stuntman. And those 4 are going to lose their lead over the others again. So we'll just fast forward a bit and see who's in the pits. That's Slicker, Rick and Danny in the pits. So lucky break there for Turner, who catches up with the pack and moves up 3 places as well. So we'll fast forward a bit more to get towards the restart, and we're planning to restart in the same place. So on the rear view of N10's car, we've got 2.5 laps to go, and everyone sitting in formation. Now the rule is that the leader chooses when to accelerate, and there he goes, and everybody else goes when the car in front goes. Oh, a little bit of weaving there, I think, from N10, trying to warm his tyres up. And N10's got a bit of a break. Malada second with Scalebreaker right behind him. And 5 cars breaking away. Slicker is the 5th car in the queue, and that just shows never give up. Slicker, of course, on the first restart chucked it into the gravel at the Parabolica and was dropped off the back of the pack, and here he is in 5th place. You can just see his blue and white car in the back, oh, not in the middle of the shot now. So it's now Malada from Breaker from N10. We'll go to the outside view because there's just too much to see. It's 7 cars in a lead pack, and then a little gap to Rick and Jezza. And then Danny on his own at the back and into the chicane, and it's N10. That Celica is a quick car on the straight. Perhaps not as quick as the MRS, but quicker than any of the others. And N10 using a different line there to so the others don't get his slipstream. Plenty of respect through the chicane. You can see Jezza and Rick trying to go through side by side. In the background. So this is N10 to his rear view. Out of the second Lesmo and down the straight to Ascari. It's about to go under the bridge. And it's Stuntman now in the lead into the Ascari chicane. Now this could be a race of tactics. It might, it's a question of getting yourself into the right place at this point in 1 lap's time on the last lap, and you can see how easy it is to use the slipstream to pass another car. So that's N10 back into the lead. And again, Scalebreaker, awesome through the Parabolica, past his Stuntman. Oh, this is fantastic stuff. We've got these 4 cars again, 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's 3 cars in their slipstream. Let's go to the outside shot. It's Stuntman and N10 into the braking zone for the Rettifilio for the last time. Stunt leads. It's N10 and Breaker going around the outside of Malada. And right on board with Breaker. This is the roof cam. Sorry about the aerial. Slightly distracting. And into the Della Rogers chicane. We'll use perhaps a little bit too much curb there. And now into Lesmo 1. Oh, just taps the back of N10 there. And that slowed them up. And Breaker lifts off to give the place to N10. And the Stuntman in the gravel ahead. And N10 very sideways. And Breaker gets squashed. He gets boxed in behind that MRS. So we're right on the rear view cam of N10, and it's Malada second, Stunt third. Scouser is up to 4th. Where did he come from? Now Scalebreaker 4th. And down to the chicane for the last time. Looks like Malada is deliberately not using the slipstream there. Presumably wants to be in exactly the right position. Oh, Stuntman took too much speed into the Parabolica and is slow out. So it's N10 with Malada going for the slipstream, going for the pass. We need the outside shot. And what's it going to show us? It's N10 and Malada side by side, then Breaker and Stuntman side by side. and that's incredibly close, and 7 cars there finished within a second, I think. And then bringing up the rear was Rick and Jezza there, who crossed the line side by side, and then Danny. And so that's the end of the race. Great race it was too. Lots and lots of passing, plenty of respect given, and another bloody good race really. And we'll have a look at the timing screen, and here we go. Fastest lap went to Scalebreaker by 100th of a second from Malada. They're in 57.4s, 57.5 for N10, and 57.7 for Stuntman. And you can see that Slicker was just under a second off the race winner, and came in 7th, and the whole field separated by just 7.5 seconds. Right, well, I've been VR Stuntman. I hope you've enjoyed this broadcast, and I'll see you online soon for round 9, which is the reverse grid race at this track.